everyone. Welcome to the Safe House, brought to you by the Safe House Initiative. I'm Jeff Edwards, co-chair of the Safe House Initiative, and your host for today's podcast. We have a very exciting program for you today. We're going to do something a little different today on the Safe House. Today we're going to have our guest, Ken Fishkin. He's going to share with us a personal journey I think is inspirational, and it's full of great lessons for us. And I think at a time when there's all these tensions in the world, and we have a very challenging jobs in the cybersecurity and operational resilience space, it's nice to have some inspirational words and some guidance and just a level set. So, when Ken is not, his day job at Lowenstein Sandler, he is the New Jersey Chapter President of ISC 2. So he brings a lot of experience and a great perspective that I think we're going to really treasure. Ken, welcome to the Safe House.
Jeff, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you. And this is your second appearance on the Safe House. You were a part of the 10 Flaws series.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
Well, welcome back. Glad you enough courage to come back another time for another helping. Ken, why don't you tell the audience a bit about yourself and how you ended up into this space, and then we'll talk about the subject.
Sure, I'd love to. So for about 20 years, I was a consultant for a large accounting firm, and I traveled a lot, and I came home at late hours, and all I knew really was spending time at work and family, and that's really all I had time for.
Yeah.
And, that was my life for a good part of my life. And I switched jobs right before COVID, back in 2019, and I had a little bit more time with my job, and being a consultant, I was always used to being on the go. I just wasn't sure what I was going to do with this extra time, and then COVID hit, and then I had even more extra time, and that was hard for we were all trapped in our houses and things were going on, and I got asked to be president of an organization that I wasn't really that active in. It was kind of a weird situation for me because, again, most of my time was spent with either work or family. So I went to a couple of meetings with the ISC 2 New Jersey chapter, and it was one of those things where I made friends with the president. I did a couple of things with them, a couple of events, and nobody really wanted to be president. And she wanted to step down because she did it for many years. And she asked me to do it. And I took a chance and said, sure. I never did anything like it before. And I thought it was going to be a fun little side thing to do, run a couple of meetings, once a month and get to meet more people, better networking. Yeah. And, that's about it. That's not what happened at all. It was a complete surprise after doing this.
So, Ken, for the audience that may not be familiar with ISC2, could you tell us briefly what is it that the organization does?
So ISC2 as a whole is a certification company, and they also are the leaders in bringing education for cybersecurity also. For those who might be familiar with the certification called the CISSP, that's their flagship certification. And that's what most people know of that organization. They've changed a lot in the last few years, and they also have a lot of chapters throughout the world.
Yeah.
These communities, and they're all independent 501(c)(3)s. And again, I wasn't that active in it. I didn't know much about running a nonprofit organization. I just started to learn more and more about it. And what happened was really transformative for me.
How so?
Because as I got more involved with it, and I saw that I had the luxury of doing what I wanted to do and not have a boss tell me that's not good for business. When money was out of the equation, and I was able to have fun with something, I really ran with it.
Hmm.
And, during COVID, we were, looking to get speakers. And the reality was it was simple to get speakers during COVID because everybody was home.
Yeah.
So I would contact these high up people in high up places and contact them through LinkedIn and say, "Are you available?" And they'd write me back at 6 o'clock in the morning saying, "Sure." And so I started to have these great people speak at these meetings. More and more people started to attend these meetings because I had these great speakers, and they were all virtual because it was COVID, of course. We started off with about 30 people when I took over as president, and then I started to get more creative with building this community. I said, "Why don't we have picnics? Because that's
Hmm.
outdoors and that's safe, and it's cheap also." Because we also
Hmm.
didn't have much money because, again, it was just a 30-person organization.
Yeah.
So we had a picnic. People brought potluck dishes. We had volleyball net, and it was a huge hit. We had 60 people come, and they brought their families. They brought friends that might be interested in the program. Right at the end of the picnic, I said, "Let's have another one next month."
Yeah.
And again, we had 60 people show up to that. And so for the past 3 years, we've been having picnics twice a year. And now the picnics are over 100 people are coming to them.
That's
And
amazing.
and that's just now one of the many events that we do now that we have built this huge community. And it's grown from 30 people to now almost 600 people within 3 years.
So why the rapid growth? Was it the lack of community during COVID, or what kind of drove this? Your creativity, a combination of things?
A combination of things. I met some great people that had some great ideas on how to build community. One of them was we built a Discord server. My friend
Hmm.
Brian, he built this online community from scratch, and that was a way for people to communicate asynchronously in between meetings. So that
Okay.
was one thing that we brought in.
Hmm.
Another thing that we did was we started to provide these training to the organization for free or really low cost. Like, so the CISSP certification training usually goes for about 2 grand.
Yep.
One of my friends now, at the time, I didn't know who he was. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a trainer and I love your mission. I'm going to provide CISSP training for only $100 per person.
Oh, wow.
5-day full training for only $100." We
Wow.
had 90 people sign up for that the first time we did it. And he started to offer other trainings. So that was one aspect of it. And then people started, the word of mouth really started to spread. And I started to post a lot on LinkedIn about what we were and what we were doing. And as a result, within the second year, we got the award for best chapter in North America.
Wow.
It really showed me what the possibilities were.
Yeah. Well,
And
and personally for you, I would think that it allowed a platform for you to show your creativity and your passion, sounds like.
exactly. So I was able to really experiment and not worry about failure
Yeah.
as we were doing this. So we also created this newsletter. That was another big thing. My friend
Hmm.
Tran and I, we started this newsletter, and we're on our 50th issue of it soon. That's how, and it's a monthly newsletter.
Oh,
It's
wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
And the newsletter isn't just showing you what the events are. We had people writing articles, we had people interviewing people. It's really taken a life of its own. It's just a wonderful way to really, when somebody says, "What's your organization about?" I don't have to
Yeah.
talk it up at all. I just say, "Check out our newsletter and you'll get it." We have a guy who is teaching gun safety now, who's an ex FBI agent. And periodically, I think 3 or 4 times a year, he'll take people to a gun range for free and teach them firearm safety.
Interesting.
So we just have all these people that are coming out of the woodwork to offer free things to people, to this community now. And it's caught on internationally as well now. We've had people from all over the world joining. And 2 years ago, we even had a cruise. We had a cyber cruise. We had about only 10 people joined because it was like toward the end of COVID. So it wasn't like and also the timing wasn't great. It was during September when school just started. But people came, and it was amazing to see what the possibilities were.
You said
Go ahead.
something, a community. You've built an entire community.
That's exactly what happened.
Huh.
We built a whole community from scratch practically,
You know,
and I'm really proud of what we have now. Great relationships have been made. People have really made some great friends,
yeah.
and I really didn't expect any of this to happen. It's been a really rewarding experience as a result.
Through this organization, do you take this to your full-time job as part of the learnings that you had from this building of this new community?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So, public speaking is something that I'm okay at. I'm not great, but forcing myself to do these monthly meetings all the time encouraged me to practice my speech and become a better speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it to my company. I started interviewing the attorneys there. And I created a cybersecurity awareness series as a result.
Huh.
So that was a skill set that I really didn't have as far as interviewing, but that I got from the chapter that I gave back to work. And the newsletter as well. I started a little newsletter. I called it Fish of the Day since my last name is Fishkin. A little pun on that.
You should put a PH in front of that. Just
Well, that's what we
anyway,
did, right?
yeah,
Of course. Yes.
yeah.
And that's what we did. Yeah, it's like this wonderful thing of working with not having it completely separate, having a little bit of mix in between. I was definitely nervous about having a little bit of mix in between work and this chapter, but it seems to be working for me. And I've built great relationships with vendors as a result. Something I've never done before, really. But it's really changed the way I look at life and relationships in a whole different way.
What would you, get some advice for people listening? What would the advice be? And then from that, I'll ask you what's the one thing they could do today. But before we get there, what advice in general, things that you would encourage people to do?
Find at least one thing that you're really passionate about and that you believe in,
Yeah,
and then go full tilt in participating in that
yeah.
and being a part of it. Do not be passive about it, be active, because it really will allow you to grow as a person. And I see a lot of people who just come to these virtual meetings and they don't say anything, and they really aren't getting the full benefit of being a part of this, of what we're trying to do, this community. And the ones
Yeah.
that are really on committees and contributing are the ones that shine.
So
Yeah.
you're saying, find that one thing that you're passionate about, extend yourself and go outside your comfort zone, put a lot of wood behind the arrow and dive into it.
Yeah. And these nonprofit places are the places where you can take chances. If you're not a leader at work, you could be a leader at one of these organizations. It's
Mm.
not that hard to do because there's a lot of people who really don't take it seriously or they don't have the time. So if you want to be a leader in these organizations, they'll take you.
Well, and Ken,
It's
you have a lot of knowledge and probably more than you gave yourself credit for, because in this community, they said, "Hey, Ken, can you help me out here?" Do you get a lot of that?
I get a lot of that, and I feel like also that I'm a really good connector now. So
Hmm.
when somebody says, "Hey, do you know somebody who does this?" or "Can you help me find out more about this?"
Yeah.
I feel like I have enough people in my circle. I can usually get back to them with the answers they need. It may not be from me directly, but at least I know people that they can go to.
Well, Ken, any final thoughts that you have?
Yeah, the final thought that I have is that, it's the old adage, you only live once, really. And when you have an opportunity that comes unexpected, to take a chance sometimes and do it, even if you don't feel it's the right time, because you really don't know unless you take that chance.
Well, Ken, it's been a delight having you on to remind us of our humanity and what we can accomplish beyond just the technical aspects that we have in our daily jobs. So thank you for joining us once again, Ken, and sharing your thoughts and your journey.
Thank you, Jeff. This has been a real pleasure.
That's our podcast for today. I'm Jeff Edwards for the Safe House Initiative. Thanks for joining us, and remember, be safe, be resilient, and be kind to each other. For more information about the Safe House Initiative, please use your mobile device to scan the QR code on the screen, or send us an email at info@safehouseinitiative.org, or visit us on our website, safehouseinitiative.org. We look forward to hearing from you.